Hi, and welcome to day one of my 7-day New Year's Yoga Challenge. Today's theme is drain and set. So we are going to focus on the lymphatic system, we're going to focus on the parasympathetic nervous system, and really open up our detox pathways, reset our bodies, and get ourselves ready for more building, more movement, more foundational strength building in future days. So today you need a space to practice. You can use a mat, you don't need to use a mat, but it's up to you. And it'd be helpful to have a blanket. That's really all you need. If you have a Pilates ball, like a small Pilates ball, that's an option to use, but a blanket will work as well. You want something with a little bit of give. And if it's bigger than this, that's okay, but you really don't want, like a children's play ball would probably be too firm and too uncomfortable. So if you have something like this, perfect. If not, stick with the blanket. Whoever you are, whatever you have, let's go ahead and start now just in a seated position. I welcome you to put your blanket under your hips. Bringing the hips up higher than the knees will just help make this position more comfortable if if your hips are sort of tight, your hamstrings, your low back. Mine's rather small. You can have a bigger blanket. If you want to sit up even higher and you have a pillow or a bolster that you want to use, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So come into a seat, just move the fleshy part of the buttocks out of the way so that you can really feel the sits bones, those bones in your butt cheeks, just grounding down into whatever it is that you're sitting on. Think about aligning the chest over the pelvis and the head over the chest. And then take notice of your rib cage. So it's easy to kind of dump forward and flare the ribs open and out. We want to think about knitting them together, engaging and drawing up on the low core, and then drawing the shoulders down and back. You may even need to pull the chin back just slightly. Think about elongating the back of the neck. And I have just a slight pull and engagement on my pelvic floor. So those are sort of like your bathroom muscles. Just think about not squeezing, but just a gentle lift and a gentle inward tug here at the core. So go ahead and place your hands on your knees. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, or lower your gaze. Let's take a deep inhale together. And sigh it out. Let's do that again. Inhale. Sigh. Once more, the biggest sigh yet. Inhale. Release. Excellent. Arriving here in your body, arriving to your practice, arriving in the new year. Imagine that there are ropes with weights on the ends of them hanging down from your sits bones. So your sits bones are making contact with whatever you're sitting on, and then there are strings tied to the ends of them, and on the bottom there's something heavy. Maybe it's a weight, maybe it's some sort of crystal or stone, but feel that weight really grounding you. Feel that as your point of contact. And if you start to sway a little side to side or forward and back, maybe a little bit of rocking, notice that the weight from your sits bones kind of pulls you back to center. That you can move around this grounding force, but it keeps you tethered to where you are. And now thinking about allowing the knees to be heavy. Maybe tie a little weight to the ends of your knees as well. Feel free to grab onto the knees if that sort of helps you sit up nice and tall, while also allowing the legs to relax. Feel the feet heavy on the mat, the earth, ground, whatever you're sitting on. Tie a little weight to whatever you feel needs an extra tug. Checking in with yourself, rocking a little side to side, forward and back, making sure that you're tethered in all the places you need to be tethered to. Feeling your base, all of the parts of your body that are in contact with the floor, feeling them really heavy and secure. Feeling this sense of having your foundation heavy, grounded, stable, secure. And from there, your spine and your arms are free to move, right? They can float up out of this base and allow you to have freedom of movement. And maybe even allow a little extra movement. Make your sway a little bigger. Allow the head to roll a little bit. Feel free to move the arms, maybe roll the shoulders. Maybe lift the arms up if that feels good. Allow it to be yummy. And see if you can keep these counter forces. See if you can feel them at the same time. Feel the weight of your base grounded, unmoving, and then the flow of your upper body growing up out of your foundation. Bring the palms together at the heart. Let's take a deep breath in. And sigh it out, coming still. Feeling your body coming into alignment. Feeling the beautiful opposing forces that are always within you. Grounded on earth, but also light, free, connected to the heavens. Beautiful. Go ahead and bat the eyes open, coming back into the room. Maybe hopefully feeling a little bit more centered in your body than you did 7 or 8 minutes ago. We're going to work now on the lymphatic system. The goal, one of the goals of this 7-day challenge is to really focus on opening up the detoxification pathways of the body. And the hope is that that will allow a deeper yoga practice moving forward, a deeper movement practice moving forward, so that, when we find ourselves in new positions that we're not used to, maybe they're not quite as painful, maybe they're not quite as nauseating, because all of the stuff that we're shaking up has a place to go. It has open pathways to move through and to flush out of, rather than clogging our systems and making us feel really yucky and unwell. We're also going to have a focus on the fascial system of the body. That will be, we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. So for now, go ahead and find the tips of the collarbone. You're going to find this U shape here, and then find the center of the U. And from there, you're going to take like 3 fingers on one hand. I'm going to use my left hand and go right down the center. You're just going to kind of press down the center of your sternum, your breastbone. And as you press down, I want you to pay attention to whether you feel any tender spots, any spots that are kind of like, feel almost bruisey. Feel free to close your eyes and really tune in and connect with your body as you're doing this. We're only going to go down as far as the bone, so we're going to end basically where between the breasts, towards the bottom. Once you start hitting the belly and the soft tissue, then you're going to stop. So we're staying on this bone here. I can feel a little bit of tenderness here myself. Just take note in your mind of where those spots are. This might bring up some emotion. That's okay, that's normal, it's good. We hold emotion in our bodies. If something comes up, just Whew, sigh it out. Sigh it out, reconnect to your base, feel yourself sturdy and grounded, and know that you are safe, that this is just stuff that's been trapped in your body and you are releasing it with love and with light with your exhale. So once you have a sense of where your tender places are, we're going to go ahead and see if you can place your fingers on each of those tender places. And if you have a lot, it might be hard to get them all, but you know, say you have one up here, one down here, you're gonna kind of like find those tender places, and you can use 2 hands if you need to. But we're gonna find those tender places. This is your thoracic duct. It's a lymphatic duct. It's right below the skin, and it's you know, a major drainage system, but it can get clogged by a lot of things, and you know, I won't go into that now because that's a bigger conversation. But go ahead and find those tender places. Yeah. Okay. And so what we're gonna do, don't do it yet, but what we're gonna do is as we inhale, we're gonna press in pretty hard, as hard as you're comfortable. You know, it may be rather uncomfortable, and certainly don't do anything that's excruciating, but should be slightly uncomfortable. You should feel, you know, the bruisey tenderness. And then as we exhale, we're gonna start to make these circles. So they're gonna go up and to the left. So you're going towards your head to your heart and around, head, heart, and around, head, heart, and around, while in connection, right? So it looks kind of like this, little circles. And we're gonna do that 3 times. So we're gonna inhale, press, and then holding the pressure, we're gonna exhale, inhale. We're gonna do that 3 times, and I'll guide you through it. So go ahead and find your tender places. See if you can make contact with as many of them as possible. I'll give you a minute to find your spots. And then as we inhale, we're gonna press in. So go ahead and inhale, press. And exhale towards the head and the heart. Feel free to close your eyes. Inhale, maybe press a little harder. And exhale towards the head and the heart. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Go ahead and release the hands down to the knees. Maybe close the eyes. Breathing. You may feel some mild nausea. You may feel a little lightheaded or kind of funky in different areas of your body, because it's just opening up these pathways, allowing the energy to flow better through your body. And even though that's a good thing, if there's a lot of, you know, junk that's stuck in there that needs to flow out, you're gonna feel it. And if you're not used to having things open and flowing and moving, it's going to feel different at first. Your body has to kind of regulate and come back to homeostasis. And so breathe in deeply and let it out, knowing that whatever you're feeling is just your body regulating. Thanking yourself for taking a minute to tune in, to open things up. When you do this practice, you only want to do about 3 breaths, because we don't want to open things up too much, right? We want to just open enough to regulate. So now let's go ahead and let's inhale the arms up overhead. And go ahead and exhale them down. Think about pressing the air away. Beautiful. As you're doing this, we're sitting up nice and tall. We're keeping the chest over the pelvis, the head over the chest. Think about knitting those ribs together, drawing up on the pelvic floor just slightly, and we'll talk about that more in future practices. So if you're not sure what that means or how to do that, we'll get there. Go ahead and inhale, arms up overhead. You can tuck the chin if you'd like, or you can look up at the hands, whichever feels good, maybe both, nodding a little yes and no. And then exhale, pressing the air away. Good. Inhale once again, lifting the arms. And this time you're gonna take, you can't quite see me, but you're gonna take your right hand and you're just gonna rake down the left side towards the armpit. Beautiful. Think about focusing on the inside of that left arm. You can come down the chest if you want. Just allowing the lymph to just run down that arm. This can be very gentle. Those lymphatic, the lymphatic system is right below the skin. Allow it to feel good. And when you're ready, you can bring that hand down. Notice how you feel. And then we'll inhale both arms up and we'll go to the other side. Go ahead and exhale, rake down the right arm. Beautiful. Good. And then bringing both arms down. Let's go ahead and inhale once more. And as you exhale, you're going to bring the right hand to the mat and allow the left arm to reach over. Head can be however it's comfortable. You could look up at that hand. You could look center. You could look down. You could kind of move it around and notice the different sensations that you get in your neck. Keeping the right hand planted, let's open up on the inhale and exhale, fold to the side again. Breathing into the left side body. Good. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale. Good. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, plant the left arm down and right arm reaches towards the left. We want to think about making sure that we're not rounding forward. We want to keep our shoulders aligned with one another in this plane here, as if we're between two planes of glass. Some people describe it that way. We also want to make sure that we're not dumping forward into our chest and overextending our low back. So we want to engage the core. Keep things as aligned as possible. Again, we'll talk about some of this stuff more in future classes. For now, just focus on stretching that right side body, keeping the left arm planted. You're going to inhale, open up, and exhale, reaching to the left. Good. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, dropping the shoulders down a little further. Go ahead and inhale, arms up overhead. And we're going to twist to the left. Taking the right hand to the left shoulder. The right leg. Sorry, I'm getting too relaxed. Looking over the left shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall. Twists are so beautiful for detoxification. Good. Inhale, coming back to center, lifting the arms up overhead, and exhale, twist to the right. Sitting up taller on the inhale, twisting a little further on the exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, arms down. Go ahead and drop the right ear over the right shoulder. If you need to change your seat at any point, like extending the legs or coming onto the knees, always please feel free to do so. Always do what feels good, whatever your body needs in each moment. If you'd like to take this a little further, you can just gently rest the right hand on the left side of the head, not pulling, but just resting. And to take it further still, you could start to press the left hand away as if you're pushing into a wall, and then you could play with the height of that arm. But again, this is also excellent. Wherever your body feels a good stretch is where you need to be, and no variation is superior to another. They're just all options. It's a buffet of options. Choose your adventure. Good. Coming back up to center, go ahead and exhale left ear over left shoulder. Once again, choose your adventure. Find what your body needs. Might not be the same on each side. When you're ready, you can come back up. Good. And then we're gonna, just like we've done the arms, just gently raking down. So raking down from the ear to the center of those collarbones. You can go down one side if that feels good, maybe down the chest a little bit. You may feel some tingling in your ears. This should feel good. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. Yeah, things are moving. You may feel like you need to kind of like swallow or yawn. It's all good. It's good stuff. And then taking your fingers, just kind of scratching the head. I'm gonna switch my legs here. Just kind of scratching the head as if you're, just gently shampooing your hair, just waking up the scalp, the blood, the lymph, maybe massaging the jaw a little bit. You know what your body needs. Beautiful. Good. Good. And then we're gonna just reset the vagus nerve. So your vagus nerve, I can't go into all of it for time's sake, but it's connected to your parasympathetic nervous system. It can become tight. The fascia around it can become tight. It can also just get out of whack. We can spend too much time in our fight or flight sympathetic nervous system, and we experience things like anxiety, for example, just inability to relax, maybe even some physical symptoms. I've felt nauseous before, things like that. And so one way that you can reset your vagus nerve is you're going to go ahead, make sure you're grounded, and then you're going to put your hands behind your head. You're going to sit up nice and tall. And you are going to, keeping your head where it is, you're going to look all the way over to the right, and you're going to keep looking as far as you can until you either yawn or take in a deep breath like I just did, like that. That's when you know you're ready to go to the other side. So arms, whenever you're ready to go to the other side, take your time. You're going to do the same thing, looking to the left until you either yawn or have a nice inhale. Yeah, good stuff. Check out the wrists when you're ready, if you're waiting. I'm just giving a minute for everyone to catch up. Good. And then go ahead and extend the legs long. This might not feel great if you're tight, so feel free to keep some movement, maybe bending one leg and then the other, pointing the toes. Maybe jiggling them a little bit, leaning back, just getting things moving today. No judgment in terms of where you're at, except that this is where you're at. Your body is beautiful and perfect and carries you every day. Maybe wiggle a little side to side, bend the knees, and just windshield wiper the knees. Great. And then we're gonna come now onto the belly. And so you're gonna grab your blanket or your ball. Let me think about this. The smaller and the harder the object is, the more intense it's gonna be. So a blanket is gonna be a little less intense because it's flatter. A bigger, softer ball is gonna be less intense. If this is not something you've done before, I'll show you what we're about to do. It can be pretty intense, so be gentle with yourself, listen to your body, know that it gets better and better and easier and easier. And this is just another way of resetting the vagus nerve and allowing the lymphatic system to kind of flush itself. So if you come to the place where we ended our practice earlier, where the bones meet, And then just below, right here where the belly starts to get soft, so you can feel ribs on either side, but there's this soft tissue in here, and ooh, it's tender, it's tight, it's not for a lot of us. That's the end of the vagus nerve, and it goes a little to the left, but you can focus on the center for now. So we're gonna think about, we're gonna come to lie on our bellies, and we're gonna place our blanket or our ball right on that space. So just to apply a little bit of pressure. And then we're just gonna breathe and we're gonna relax and we're gonna allow things to kind of open and release there. So you can use the blanket, I'll show you what that looks like, and then I'll show you with the ball. So coming on to the belly, finding that spot right below the breasts where you know, things get soft and squishy and kind of maybe a little tender to the touch. You're gonna come to lie on your blanket. And you're gonna breathe. You'll probably feel, you might feel some pulsating in that spot. May become most intense when we exhale. It's all good. This helps with digestion, detoxification, stress. It's just such a wonderful practice. I'm gonna go ahead and use my ball, which again will be more intense because obviously it's placing a little bit more pressure. So if you have both objects, think about which feels better for you. And I invite you to come to lie down. Turn your head to one side. Find your comfortable spot, get cozy. Even close your eyes. And breathe deeply. If you have your head facing one direction, go ahead and switch so that your other cheek is on the mat. If you need to come out of this at any time, of course, feel free to do so. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and remove the props. We're going to come down to lie on our backs. Find a position that's comfortable for you. Knees can be bent straight. You can use props if you'd like. Take whatever movement feels good before you find some stillness. Closing the eyes, comfortable, or lowering the gaze. Maybe taking one more big yawn. Even a big yawn will kind of activate that parasympathetic nervous system. invite you to stay here as long as you can. But if you need to wrap up this practice, start to invite a little bit of movement back into the body. Maybe wiggling the fingers and toes or rocking a little side to side, shaking the head, no. And when you're ready, rolling over onto one side. And then gently pushing yourself up into a seated position. Okay. Coming to sit however is comfortable. We've done a lot of sitting in this practice. I promise that not every day we'll have this much sitting. So sit however you like. Stand, lie down, whatever feels good. Maybe closing the eyes once more. Bring the palms together at the heart. Taking a moment of gratitude for all of the traditions, the science, the cultures that brought us the practices that we utilize today. Taking a moment of gratitude for yourself, for showing up, for making this time, prioritizing your wellness. It's not easy. And then bowing the head to the heart. We'll take one more inhale together. And let it go. Batting the eyes open. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you tomorrow.